Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this great day here in October, this chilly morning. And the reason we are here today will be further explained as we continue in this time of coming together, one in person here and those who are watching online. So we want to greet the press and all of you for coming out, and thank Dallas Police as well for hosting us here. I want to give remarks of who I am. My name is Marcus King. I'm a senior pastor at Disciple Central Community Church in DeSoto, Texas, and have been a resident of Dallas and several areas in the DFW for about 20 years or so. One of the things we want to make sure that we are understanding today is one of the main reasons we're gathering, and you will hear this several times throughout this press conference, is to reclaim the narrative of why Colin Kaepernick kneeled, and that will clarify several reasons of why we are here today. And I know the Cowboys are on bye week, but I've been protesting since before the particular season has started. And hopefully by the time we leave here today, we won't have to just have a bye week, but some people may have a goodbye week, a week where we say goodbye to the Cowboys until they strengthen their resolve on justice. So today we want to acknowledge a few things: the churches and organizations who are standing as a part of the Coalition for Justice. One representing the African American Pastors Coalition, Pastor Brian Carter. Also, All Nations Fellowship Church, that would be Pastor Robert Kennedy, the elder educator in our community, a powerful sister, even when I used to teach here in Dallas, Miss Shirley Ison Newsom, great leader for Next Generation Action Network, the Minister Dominique Alexander. We also have National Black United Front Dallas chapter leader Thomas Muhammad. And then we have additional clergy and community activists. The reason we are here today is because we love this country. We love our people in this country, all cultures, creeds, and kinds. And one of the reasons that we're gathering here today is from the leadership of one of my good friends, mentors, pastors, and a great revolutionary of all kinds. It's sad in 2017, should I say, that we've had several things. I'm not going to say 1968. And the reason I was about to say it's sad here in 2017 is because I'm introducing someone who has a revolutionary's name by the name of Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III. And it's sad that I have to carry a revolutionary's name that got killed in 1968. So here it is, King introducing Douglass. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I want to express my appreciation to Pastor Dr. Marcus King for opening us, and I also want to thank those who have joined with us today. He has already referenced them. We want to make special mention of the presence of veterans who have served our country and sacrificed for this country. We also symbolically stand under a sign that says we support our police officers right here in Dallas, Texas. And so we don't want any red herrings to get out that would distract us from the real meaning of our movement. And so I thank all of you who are here, and especially do I want to thank those who are part of this coalition for justice. Martin Luther King Jr., ironically, in 1968, April 3rd, the night before he was assassinated, toward the end of what was known as the mountaintop speech, said to America, "Be true to what you said on paper," and began to speak about the fact that on paper is the First Amendment right to protest, the First Amendment right of free speech. I think all of us know that this NFL season has been haunted by a created anthem controversy. It's a created controversy because it has become a distraction from the real message that the NFL players, led by Colin Kaepernick, who has been denied a job, ironically, by these same owners. But Colin Kaepernick last year, as a part of a compromise with a veteran, because Colin Kaepernick began the season sitting on the bench during the national anthem, after a conversation with the veteran who said he did not feel it was appropriate for Colin Kaepernick to sit on the bench, they agreed it would be good that Colin Kaepernick would take a knee. And in taking a knee, he would point toward the sad reality that racial injustice is still going on in these yet to be United States of America. And with that being the case, Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Why? Because he says there's no way I can play football, silently ignore what's happening in the streets of our cities as black and brown bodies are being slain in our streets, and police officers, in many instances a product of a policing system, are allowed to act as judge, jury, and executioner and not be held accountable for the slaying of unarmed black bodies. And so Colin Kaepernick took a stand when he took that knee during the national anthem, in essence saying, America, be true to what you're singing about. Well, last week, Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, decided it was time to revert to plantation politics. Plantation politics, where Jerry Jones, in essence, was saying, stand up, shut up, and get out there and play. Slaves, obey your masters. How sad that is, Mr. Jones, because you want your players, 70% of the NFL is comprised of African Americans who come from communities where, in too many instances, the policing system does not serve and protect them, but instead abuses, humiliates, and sometimes kills them. And so, Mr. Jones, we want you to be true to what you want us to sing about, because there is a line in that national anthem that says, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Be true to that. Be true to that, because when you issue a dictate that says that if you are going to play on this football team, you are going to stand and respect the anthem. Mr. Jones, you respect the home of the free and the land of the brave. You respect the flag allegiance, where we say during the Pledge of Allegiance, it's a land of liberty and justice for all. You go ahead and respect that, Mr. Jones. So be true to what you want us to sing about. Why? Because in essence, Mr. Jones does not mind cheering for those black players while they are on the field, but he's not concerned about the hell their communities are catching off the field. And so we want you to cheer for us off the field. Off the field, we want to make sure that we have communities that are safe and protected, communities that experience justice and development. We want that off the field, Mr. Jones. And so I conclude my remarks by saying, Mr. Jones, be true to what you want us to sing about. And we want you to read afresh the Emancipation Proclamation. Slavery is over, and your players should be free to express themselves. Your players should be free to kneel during the national anthem, because when they're kneeling during the national anthem, they are standing for what America is all about. Mr. Jones, you are the owner of America's team. Well, be true to what America is supposed to be about. And when you're true to what America is supposed to be about, we invite you, number one, recant your dictate from last week and free your players up to protest. And then number two, Mr. Jones, we invite you, as you and your fellow comrades meet on tomorrow, to discuss this controversy that you have created. Instead, why don't you take the month of November and declare that Justice Month? Yes, the NFL standing for justice. What a novel concept. This month, you're doing a beautiful thing. It's beautiful that you're standing with our sisters who are survivors of breast cancer. I love that you're doing that. Well, since your players, 70% are black, we want you to declare November Justice Month. And during Justice Month, why don't you lead the charge for bail and prison reform? During the month of November, why don't you invite the parents of those children who have been slain by police officers? Why don't you invite the parents of Jordan Edwards, the parents of Clinton Allen, the parents of Tamir Rice? Invite those parents to come on the field and declare that the Cowboys are going to truly be America's team. And when we are truly America's team, it will be a nation of liberty and justice for all. Mr. Jones, be true to what you want us to sing about. Peace.
I want to start off by saying that a black man is no one's property. I want to start off by saying a quote from one of the greats that lived before us, Fannie Lou Hamer. If I'm truly free, who can tell me how much of my freedom I can get today? We live in an America that they continue to remind us that they own us. They continue to remind us the acronyms of NFL, Negroes for lease. They continue to remind us that as long as you play on this football team and as long as you have the luxuries, you're not able to voice the opinions of what the suffrage that you went through growing up. Half of the NFL, 65% of them is black. 0 owners. We can still count on our hands and fingers how many NFL head coaches we have in the NFL. But I want to make sure that we understand this. Jerry Jones has made it very loud and clear that he does not want to represent the black struggle. And we have to stand here united today, letting Jerry Jones know that we will protest, we will do whatever direct actions to push back at any false narrative that's going to stop black and brown bodies from having a voice on the football field. Reminded, somebody said the NFL should not be political. Sports should not be political. Well, I remember back in my historical book, that's the reason why the Olympics started. It was big, powerful people, world leaders wanting to put their top sports teams and fight together to see who was the big and bad dog in the world. That's how it started. It was always a political statement. Sports is built off of political statements. And we see children across the country, high school children, middle school children, college students, all taking a knee from our brother Colin Kaepernick has started. Right. And then we say, hey, we're disrespecting the flag. No, you have disrespected the flag a long time ago. That's because right. Fannie Lou Hamer said that for black people, that blood is drenched with our blood. Right. And guess what? As a leader of the young community, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to stop at your narrative. We're going to keep on pushing because guess what? Fannie Lou Hamer said it very loud and clear. If we don't get it, you won't get it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Shut it down.
I am Shirley Ison Newsom, an elder in the community and a retired educator. It has been said that every battle won must be won over and over again, and that it is the complacency of believing a victory is won forever that is the most detrimental to our freedom. And thus it is why we are here today fighting the battle for the constitutional right of free speech and free expression. The right is noted in the preamble of the Constitution to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. We come today to say that we stand and kneel to secure the blessing of freedom for the Dallas Cowboy players and all who seek freedom from the tyranny of the killing of unarmed Americans, men, women, and children. We are here to reclaim the narrative and the fight that Colin Kaepernick began, kneeling for freedom of expression to highlight the atrocities abroad throughout these United States, including right here in the backyard of Dallas, Texas, and Box Springs, where a young black boy was shot in the back by an officer of the law.
That's right.
Again, calling attention to the slaying of men, women, and children who were unarmed and slain by a heavily armed officer of the law. We cannot let the lie stand that this protest by football players and others was an affront to the flag symbolic of the freedom guaranteed by the Constitution of these United States. We cannot let the lie stand that to kneel was an affront to soldiers who defend the countries and the principles of freedom within the Constitution. It is an affront that those who fostered this lie, do so without any mention of the slayings of unarmed citizens. Jerry Jones should be on his knees at every game for these victims of atrocities. Who said, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That's right.
The players and all of us are sick and tired of the misrepresentation of this constitutionally guaranteed right to protest. We are sick and tired of the killings. Yes. We are sick and tired of those in power in the highest level of government and the richest of owners who make their riches off the backs of players, continuing this lie and ignoring the fact that unarmed men, women, and children have been shot down in the streets of America, that their blood flows freely in our streets without a cry of protest from the highest levels of government, nor from Jerry Jones or any other team owner. Francis Scott Key, who penned the poem that was later put to music and adopted as the anthem of these United States, served as district attorney of the city of Washington from 1833 to 1840, and actively defended slavery and attacked the abolitionist movement in several high-profile cases. He argued in one case favoring slaveholders, stating the property rights of slaveholders outweigh the free speech rights of those arguing for slavery's abolition. I stand today with other freedom-seeking citizens, pastors and leaders to say that the free speech right of the Dallas Cowboy players and other players outweigh the rights of the owners, who should stop acting like the slaveholders that Francis Scott Key defended against the free speech of those fighting for freedom and the abolishment of slavery. We are sick and tired, but not tired enough to stop standing and kneeling for justice. May God give a special blessing to those who continue to fight by kneeling for freedom and standing tall for justice. Peace, power, and love to you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Pastor, you talked specifically about showcasing this voice here. My question is, why aren't you up in Frisco in front of Jerry Jones's house?
Because again, unfortunately, the narrative has been hijacked by Jerry Jones and his friend in Washington, D.C. And what they have done is make it an anthem controversy as opposed to a controversy about the slaying of bodies. We did discuss going out there, and that is not something that we will not do in the future. That is in our arsenal, but we wanted to keep the narrative, or reclaim the narrative, as Dr. King said, and that is that we are concerned about the lack of justice for those black bodies who have been slain in the streets, and there's been a lack of accountability on the part of the police officers.
I know that you have had, and others have probably had an opportunity to have direct interpersonal dialogue with Mr. Jones. Has he said anything? Has there been any response from him at all regarding any of this?
No, we hope to hear from him, though.
Narrative. How have the conversations here with DPD and the other police departments in the area transpired since you've done this?
Well, the beautiful thing is Dallas has a new police chief, and we are excited about the possibilities that she is bringing to Dallas, and we're looking forward to working with her. As a matter of fact, we've had conversations with her, so we're hopeful that there is a new day in Dallas, but we also recognize that Dallas has its own history of a lack of accountability when it comes to the slaying of black and brown bodies. And so we will hold off on some statements about that right now, but we are here to say we support reform in the police department and in the Justice Department. We support bail reform, and we're insisting upon it, and we have the back of the police department as long as they have our back.
One more, Dr. Haynes. Okay. There's a fool over here, Pastor Jeffries, with boxing rings. What message do we have for him? Because of some
Be quiet. Follow Jesus.
We would like to invite Pastor Jeffries to join this movement. I wrote an open letter to him yesterday at church, and so I will make that open letter available to you, but we do hope that Mr. Jeffries will repent for the statement that he made that was reckless and offensive, and join this movement. Mr. Jeffries came on a radio program I had a few years ago and said if he was around when Dr. King was marching, he would have marched with him. And so I simply invite him, since he would have marched with Dr. King, to stand with Colin Kaepernick.
My name is Chaplain Ernest Walker. Obviously, I am a military veteran. I chose not to just wear my hat today. I wanted to put on my uniform. It fits a little snug, but I was able to get it back on. But what I wanted to say to you is, It's never been about our military men and women. Because if you look at the NFL, not one current NFL owner served in the military. Not one. The last one was William Mara, the owner of the Buffalo Bills. Okay? There's not one that has served in the military, including their friend at 1600 Pennsylvania. Remember, he had a left foot, or was it a right foot injury? He forget and I forget too. But don't use my service and the service of the men and women I see people that served in Vietnam as an excuse for the lack of empathy and sympathy for the people and their plights in this community and in the communities around us. The communities of those same players who have struggled, had single parents in some homes, who have struggled to make it through those neighborhoods. They had PTSD before PTSD was even created, just growing up in their communities. But they made it to the NFL, where they should be able to have the freedoms that every other man and woman in this country, this great country, has. That's the freedom of speech. I look back and I see mentors like these men that are behind me right now, the Arthur Flemings and the Frederick Haynes and the Dominic Alexanders and some of the other men that are standing behind me, and women. Strong women. Strong women. I got out of that one. Somebody praying for me. But let me say this. Let me say this to you. People, I serve proudly. When I wear this uniform or I wear my hat, people say, thank you for your service, thank you for your service. But when I'm stopped by a police officer, I don't have this uniform on, okay? When I'm stopped by a police officer, I am a black man without a uniform. And in that, I need everyone to know in this community, in this great nation, that Black Lives Matter. That's right. Because under this, I am a black man. And black lives do matter. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's it. That's it. From a veteran. Get that to Jerry Jones.
I just wanted to say one more thing. And y'all don't ever put this on television, so I'm going to put you on notice before I even begin. Y'all can turn them off. Where are all the white folks at? Specifically, all of my white preachers in town who want to talk about Black Lives Matter.
Talk about it.
Black lives matter in the pulpit when you're earning that paycheck, but black lives don't matter when you hit the door.
Talk about it.
I want to tell you something. I don't know about Jerry Jones' faith, but I can tell you that Jerry Jones is a racist. And I can also tell you that a racist shouldn't feel comfortable in any churches in this community. So, for all the church folk who try to get out of church early to attend the Cowboys game, I just want to tell you, Jesus ain't joining you. Amen.
All right, thank you very much. And again, thank you to the Dallas Police Department. Thank you to our veterans. And thank you again to this wonderful coalition that's about justice. God bless.